What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Pixel phone. So a lot of people wanted me to, kind of discuss, my thoughts about the Pixel phones in this, I guess, mid 2024 here. So we got the Pixel 8 Pro, the newest one, and we're going to be focused on the flagship phones right now. So Pixel 7 Pro and then the Pixel 6 Pro. So I want to go ahead and actually talk about, software updates, because that's quite a bit of a question that I actually get, and I'm pulling this straight from Google's website here. So these phones do have a pretty good software lifespan, and you can see the Pixel 8 Pro here. It will be, and this is for the Pixel 8 too, it'll be supported until 2030, so it'll actually get 7 years of software updates, which is absolutely insane. So that's really nice. And if you go ahead and look at the Pixel 7 series, that will tell you that the Pixel 7 Pro will be supported for Android version 2025, and then it'll get security patches up to October 2027. And then you can see the Pixel 6 Pro here, it actually got its last major OS update, and that was the Android 14 update, and it's currently getting security patches, and it'll get security patches up till 2026. So yeah, so these phones are still getting updates, especially if you buy the Pixel 8 Pro. It's going to be getting updates for a very long time. So that's one of the really good things about buying a Pixel 8 Pro, and I think Pixel and Samsung is doing the 7 years major OS updates, and hopefully other manufacturers start to follow suit as well too. All right, so I do want to talk about the price of these phones. I always put these Pixel phones in my top 5 lists and stuff like that. But you can see if you do get a Pixel 8 Pro, and I'm sure they have like trade-in programs and stuff like that. But for right now, it's $800, and this is $800 brand new. So this is actually on the cheaper side when it comes to flagship. So I think the Pixel 8 Pro is definitely it's cheaper than the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the S24 Ultra. Those are $1,000 plus phones. So this is a very good phone for relatively cheap, and it actually does one thing, or you could probably say two things, but one thing better than the S24 and the 15 Pro Max is that all of these phones I still think take better pictures than the S24 and the 15 Pro Max. I just prefer the pixel shots and the image processing. I know it sounds crazy, but these do take some of the best stills. Now when we talk about the overall camera system as far as like video and stuff like that, then yeah, you could make your case for iPhone, Galaxy, but I'm a huge fan. So I always say this, for this type of price, like the Pixel 6 Pro, you can find for around like $200, and if you go on eBay, you can see $258. If you go on eBay, you can find it cheaper. The Pixel 7 Pro is trending for about $378, and again, I've seen this cheaper. The prices kind of fluctuate and go up and down, so just cross-check like Amazon, eBay, Swappo, stuff like that. But yeah, so definitely, guys, if you're looking for a really good phone that takes photos, the Pixel phones are definitely phones that you need to be taking a look at. Now let's talk about the hardware here with these phones. So you can see they haven't really changed from the 6 Pro to the 8 Pro here. Google has made very minor changes here, but the kind of iconic design language here is actually these camera bars here that you can see. Google has put this camera bar here, and it really makes it a Pixel phone, I think, because when you take this phone out, it's a Pixel because of the camera bar. You can see they've kind of made very minor changes here. You can see with the 6 Pro's camera bar right there, and then you can see it has a cutout now on the 8 Pro, and then the cutout is separate on the 7 Pro. But largely they look pretty much identical. They're all IP68 dust and water resistant, and honestly they're all very easy to hold as well too. They're not as sharp as something like the S24. You guys can see, very sharp phone. These are kind of easier to hold, even though they're also bigger phones as well too. So hardware wise, I really love the designs. I like how unique they look. Alright, so let's talk about the displays here. So not too much has changed with the displays. They're very good displays on all of these phones. As you can see, the Pixel 6 Pro with the lowest max brightness, and the Pixel 7 Pro with the second, and then the Pixel 8 Pro has the highest max brightness, so you can kind of see that I got them all at max brightness. But as far as the actual display quality, they're all 1440p displays. They're all 120 hertz. They're all HDR10 plus, and they are, all essentially, look the same color wise for the most part. The biggest difference here is going to be the max brightness. Now, Google has pretty much gotten away from the curved design that you see on the Pixel 7 Pro and the 6 Pro. And I think it's largely because a lot of people have been complaining about it. Samsung has did it as well too. With the accidental touches, people claim, and then also it's harder to apply the screen protectors as well too. And again, I don't use screen protectors personally. I know some people think I'm crazy, but I definitely get that. But the flat screen, it looks great, but I am a big fan of the curved screens as well too. But as you guys can see, they all look really, really good still, even the Pixel 6 Pro. So I have no issues with display quality. Like I said, it's very minimal these past, generations here. Alright, so I do want to talk about the overall software experience on a Pixel phone. Essentially, it's going to be very Google-like experience. So basically, this is what, they want Android to look like. This is what Google wants Android to look like. It's very clean. It's very, bare bones. It's got a lot of Google stuff in it, right? So essentially this is just like a bunch of Google stuff, right? Google apps, Google, you're going to be doing Google search. So if you're really deep into the Google ecosystem, then you'll really love the Android operating system. And again, like I said, very clean. Now, the one I think bonus to Pixel phones is that, say for instance, the Pixel 7 Pro here, it's running Android 15. So you're the first to get the beta software when it, the next version of Android comes out. So when Android, 16 comes out, you will be the first to get it, and test it out, whatever new features. So I always thought that was cool. That's definitely a bonus to owning a Pixel phones. Usually the other, bigger flagship brands usually get the update, a little bit later, but you're the first to try out the software. So I think that's pretty cool as well too. Alright guys, let's talk about the processors here. So as you can see, the original, Google Tensor chip on the 6 Pro, and then you can see the progression here. Now it's not like a huge progression here, for the most part, as far as like looking at the scores and stuff like that. But these phones are still pretty fast, and these Pixel phones do get kind of a, flack for not being necessarily gaming phones. Which I think these phones do a pretty good job at gaming. But when it comes to gaming performance and stuff like that, these phones do a pretty decent job. Like I said, Google has fixed a lot of the kind of the overheating. I don't even want to say overheating, but these phones like the 7 Pro and the 6 Pro do kind of get a little bit warm. But with the 6 Pro, just like filming with it, and the 7 Pro, if it's like really hot, if it's hot outdoors, and I would just have like, problems with the camera, like recording, because I use these the Pixel phones to record all of my YouTube shorts. So I'm using the 8 Pro now, but I was using the 7 Pro, and definitely if I'm outdoors like recording, I would run into some issues. But it's pretty much fixed now. I've never had any problems like indoors, and when it comes to gaming, these phones still do a pretty good job. Like I said, it's probably not, if you're like a, an extreme gamer on a budget, right? This you can get better settings on like an older Galaxy phones. You can play at HDR Extreme. A lot of the Galaxy phones you can play PUBG at 90 frames now. But you can see this one, not the best settings here. Best settings smooth extreme, but there's no HDR Extreme for the 6 Pro. But it still does a pretty decent job, and I think the 7 Pro should be able to do HDR Extreme. Yeah, it does. There's no 90 frames. So yeah, so there's no 90 frames on these Pixel devices. They're not as well optimized as, the Snapdragon phones. So I would say if you're a gamer on a budget, I always say you might want to go with like an older Samsung flagship or something like that. I think it's pretty much the same thing for the 8 Pro as well too. There's no 90 frames either. So yeah, so these phones are going to do a decent job for gaming for the most part. Like the 8 Pro can pretty much play anything really well. So I have no issues with that. And the 7 Pro does a pretty good job. But like I said, they're just not as well optimized. So if you're gaming, I would say if you're a casual gamer, you just play a couple matches here and there. These phones are perfectly fine. Now, as far as the cameras, like I said, I believe if you watch the blind smartphone tests, like MKBHD, the Pixel phones would always be like high up there. I think winning majority of the time, I believe. So yeah, it's no shocker that Google makes some of the best camera phones you can take photos with. Now, if we're comparing the 6 Pro to the 7 and 8 Pro, I'm gonna be honest. There are improvements, but it's not like a crazy improvement. Where's my camera? It's not like a crazy improvement. So yeah, so pictures even on the 7 Pro and 6 Pro still look really good. So I'm gonna take a picture of this thing here just to show you guys, and we'll do 2x, and it's very similar in terms of the quality. And yeah, and I think the biggest area where they really have improved is actually the video. Video has gotten much better throughout time. But like I said, the stills are pretty much still look the same to me, at least for the most part, which is a good thing. So if we just compare these stills, and let's see. Yeah, they still pretty much look similar, and nighttime photography is really good on these phones as well too. It's not really that big of a difference. That's just one thing that I noticed. Like, you're not gonna really see that big of a difference in terms of the quality of these images. Now, I think video, Google has really stepped it up with the video on the Pixel 8 Pro. It's a lot better. But yeah, the still photography is really good on all of these phones still. So that's why I said I'm always impressed with more so the Pixel 6 Pro for being able to still give us these really high quality photos for relatively cheap. But the sensors on here, Google really is, I guess, focused on a lot of the software with like the Magic Eraser and all the the software and AI stuff. So yeah, so just in conclusion, I mean the video quality on these phones and the photo quality is pretty good, guys. I mean, these are really good cameras for the most part. I think the one thing that the Pixel phones don't really do that a lot of people like that the Samsung phones do is like the really good zoom quality shots. So I think Google, they might end up introducing that in the future. But for right now, the image processing, how skin tones come out, I just really love everything about the photos. Alright, so the Pixel 6 Pro and 7 Pro sound pretty much identical, and the 8 Pro is slightly louder than the 6 Pro and 7 Pro. But there's very minimal speaker difference here, and that's pretty much a good thing because the speakers sound amazing on all of these phones. Really well balanced, great bass. But yeah, the 8 Pro is a little bit louder though, but really good speakers on all of these. Alright, so lastly, I want to talk about battery life. So battery life has gotten better, but I really would like to see better standby time on these Pixel phones. Standby time is decent, even on the Pixel 8 Pro. It's still just kind of okay, but they have been improving the battery life with these phones. I don't think it's quite on par with Samsung and Apple, but the Pixel 8 Pro is obviously going to have the best battery life. The Pixel 6 Pro is just kind of okay battery. 7 Pro is a little bit better, but the Pixel 8 Pro, I can definitely say this phone, has pretty good battery life for the most part. I'm really happy with the battery performance on this phone. Alright, so that is pretty much it. So I feel like that wraps up everything you should really know about, buying a Pixel phone in 2024. Let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys in the next one.